I'm going to go over my experience with the 75 hard challenge. My name is Dr. Eric Broadworth. I am a doctor of physical therapy, and I recently just completed the 75 hard challenge. So I wanted to go over and share my experience with you if you are thinking about doing this challenge and some things to consider. Um, so I started this in at the end of January and just finished. My last day was April 13th, 2023. Started it on a Sunday, ended on a Thursday, and some of the things that I did and wanted to share my experience. So I did a low carb, macro based diet, and considered as far as like cheating goes, no sweets. So no sweets that whole time. Obviously, no alcohol. There's the 2 45-minute workouts. And so when it comes to, I would say, what is the hardest part about the 75 hard challenge? It's really not the physical part. It's honestly the mental resiliency to get through it. You really have to plan your day ahead. And I would say the 45-minute workout was probably the hardest part as far as getting two of those in. Prior to doing 75 hard, it wasn't uncommon for me to be able to work out for, 75 to 90 minutes a day. I didn't think that part would be that difficult. So it was surprising to me. But what made it challenging was that you had to separate them and one had to be outside. They couldn't be back to back. So it really took a lot of just planning and time commitment there. So, you know, um, in looking at the weather ahead, since you had to do it outside, I was looking at the next day. Hey, when can I fit my outside workout? When can I fit both workouts in? And so that was definitely difficult as far as planning ahead. One thing that also made it very challenging to me, as far as like from a physical standpoint, was I dealt with a low back injury the whole time. I have a herniated disc and my low back, and it has not really gotten better. And so part of my workouts really they had to be adjusted for my own safety. So I would consider, doing more of my PT based exercises as one of the workouts, right? So for 45 minutes, the other 45-minute workout would be like walking the dogs. So if I were healthy the entire time and weren't dealing with an injury, it definitely would have looked a little different. I really enjoy CrossFit and weightlifting and mixing it up a bit. However, even if I was healthy, in order to prevent injury, what I would recommend for people is you really need to make sure that, if you're doing heavy weights, that you're mixing in like walking should be like one of the workouts. Going high intensity workouts twice a day, every day for 75 days, it's going to catch up to you and you're likely going to get hurt. So you really need to also listen to your body during this challenge. Just because you have, say something planned, say, well, today's weightlifting day and it's heavy squat day and your knees are hurting or your back's hurting or whatever, listen to yourself and maybe you switch it up. Maybe you do yoga that day or something lighter, or maybe you go a little bit lighter on the weights, adjust to what your body is telling you. So I would say that part's extremely important. If you are dealing with an injury, you really need to make sure that you're working with a healthcare professional through this to make sure you don't want that to get worse. And so just really be mindful and listen to your body if you're dealing with any aches, pains, and any of that is getting worse. So I would say that was very difficult for me, was dealing with the herniated disc has been very frustrating. And I had to definitely modify my activity for my own safety and well-being. But I made it beneficial by, just keeping moving, even if it was a lot lighter than what I typically would have done in the past. So listen to your body. The other things. So I was, with that being said, with the nutrition point, with that also takes some planning. So for me, for having like that low carb diet and no sweets, that took a lot of mental resiliency. Part of the at the beginning of this challenge in February was my birthday, for example. And so part of my thing was no sweets. So we went out for my birthday dinner and they're like, "Oh, do you want you get a free dessert?" Well, that my wife got to have the free dessert. I did not get the free dessert. So that took a lot of just willpower, which I think is important, and not making excuses for your diet. So I did like that, you're kind of forced to say, hey, I can't have any alcohol. So I can't have, whatever your diet that you're going to follow does. Make sure though that with whatever diet that you pick, that again, it fits your needs, that you're being smart about it. Do not go super low calorie and then you're trying to fit in a bunch of workouts. That's not safe. I would recommend speaking with a registered dietitian, nutritionist, healthcare professional to make sure that what you're doing is safe during this time, and meets your body's needs and requirements. So I did a low carb, basically macro diet and no sweets. And I would still go out with friends, still went to the bar a couple times, and I would order a water and, like a Diet Coke or something like that. And honestly, not putting that stuff in my body was, you definitely feel a bit better, as far as mental clarity, felt better. And recently, so after the 75 hard challenge was over, the next day I did end up, had some of those things that I couldn't have before. Had a donut, had a burger, and oh man, I will tell you, after eating clean, you do definitely notice when you put those things back in your body does not care for it. So it just shows you too, when you clean up your diet, how much better you will feel and how much just kind of crap is out there in the typical American diet. And so I did enjoy that part, as far as not making excuses. It's like, no, can't have this, when friends or family are trying to get you to eat something, and it's like, nope, hey, I'm doing this thing. You're more than welcome to join me, but can't have it right now. After it's over, then I can loosen up those restrictions a little bit. So yeah, that was really, those are the big things I would say with the 75 hard challenge. It's really mostly about mental resiliency more than physical. I will say that. So while a big part of it is like the 2 45-minute workouts, it's all in here, and mental toughness as far as like getting through, because you can always modify things. So it's just not making excuses. And while there were a lot of times where it's like, I'm ready for this thing to be done, I do not want to go for a walk right now, even though according to this thing, I have to get my workout in. I have to go for a walk. I didn't want to go for a walk. There were days where it's like, I'm used to having my rest day on, say, Sundays, where I don't work out. I don't really do anything. I do more light activity. And I still kept it, very light on those days, as far as my activity level, but it was mentally challenging for sure. So getting through it though, just is a nice reminder that, hey, you can do these things that you put your mind to. So I think for just mental fortitude, it is best for that, even more so than the physical benefits. I did some blood work as well through Inside Tracker at the very beginning and at the end. So I'm curious as to what my results are going to show. I will be posting that in another video. I don't have those results back yet, but as soon as I get those, I'm going to break down my blood work and Inside Tracker results and see how did 75 hard impact my biomarkers with my blood using Inside Tracker. So excited to see that. Curious what your thoughts are. Comment in the comments below and ask any questions there, and I will try to get to those. Thanks for watching.